Hello everyone, welcome to today's live talk, A Career in Drug Development as an R&D Analytical Scientist. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Choi Sin. I'm the head of Department for Pharmaceutical Chemistry and also the moderator for today's live talk. Let me first share my screen. All right. May I confirm you can view my screen?
Yes, Dr. Lee.
Thank you, Natasha. All right. Okay. So once again, welcome and a very good afternoon to all of you. Before we start, just would like to inform some of the housekeeping rules. We have muted the microphone for all participants. For questions and feedback, please use the Q&A panel. You can start to type in your questions and feedback from now, and we will have a Q&A sessions after the presentation. Now, let us take a quick look at the content of the live talk today. So we will have a quick introductions about what is BSc Honours in in Pharmaceutical Chemistry offered by IMU, and also followed by the sharing sessions, the main topic today, all right, by Ms. Natasha on her career in drug development as an R&D Analytical Scientist. And lastly, we'll have a Q&A sessions. All right, let me take this opportunity to give you a quick introductions about the IMU Pharmaceutical Chemistry program. I'm sure many of you joining these sessions is also interested to know more about the IMU Pharmaceutical Chemistry program. So IMU, we are the first Malaysian university offering the Pharmaceutical Chemistry undergraduate program. This Pharmaceutical Chemistry undergraduate program is an interdisciplinary program, and it is an integration of applied chemistry and also pharmaceutical sciences program. Our program was first launched back in 2008, and we have gone from strength to strength to produce graduates and leaders who have built successful career in pharmaceutical, nutraceutical, known as supplements, personal care and cosmetics, and also other relevant industries. The honors degree, pharmaceutical chemistry, is an honors degree. So this honors degree is a 3-year program, and students will get to do a research project that allow them to apply hands-on skills as well as knowledge, pharmaceutical sciences and applied chemistry knowledge that they have acquired in the curriculum to prove for their research hypothesis. The students also get to do internship, up to a 4 months internship training at industries and also in department that they are desiring. The program is accredited by the Malaysian Qualifications Agency, MQA, and also recognized by the Institute Kimia Malaysia, IKM, or known as the Malaysian Institute of Chemistry. Graduates of this program, they are eligible to apply for IKM Institute Kimia Malaysia membership and practice as a registered practicing chemist with the title of CHM in Malaysia. So only the registered practicing chemists that can sign off or certify certificate of analysis intended for the public, and they are also eligible to become the approved signatory in accredited labs. So this marks the difference between the pharmaceutical chemistry graduates and pharmaceutical sciences. IMU Pharmaceutical Chemistry curriculum is also benchmarking to international standards. As you can see that the program is also accredited by the Royal Society of Chemistry UK. And also we are in partnership with overseas universities, for example, University of Sydney, in offering credit exemptions in their 2-year Master of Pharmacy program. So graduates of Master of Pharmacy, they are registrable to be practicing pharmacists in Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore. In addition, we are also in partnership with University of Dundee, offering credit transfer to drug discovery related programs in University of Dundee. Since the launching of this program in 2008, so we are proud that the program has produced many quality and high standard graduates who are now playing different important roles in the pharma industry. And today, we're very happy and also proud to have our very own BSc Honors Pharmaceutical Chemistry alumna, Ms. Natasha Stella Tibon. Natasha was graduated in 2019, and after her graduation, Natasha joined Novugen Pharma as an analytical scientist. As an analytical scientist, Natasha not only involving in laboratory activities, but she's also involving in technology transfer and product submission processes. Recently, congratulations to Natasha, she has published her exciting findings in peer-reviewed scientific journals. In today's live talk, Natasha will also give you a quick look into the pharma industry in Malaysia. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Ms. Natasha Stella Tibon to start her talk. Natasha, the floor is all yours.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lee, for that introduction. So give me a minute, I'll share my screen.
Sure.
All right, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, Natasha.
All right, let's begin. So a very good afternoon to everyone. I hope you guys had a good lunch and you guys are not feeling too sleepy. So we will begin the discussion, I would say, a presentation today. So today, the topic that I will be covering would be just a brief introduction on who I am, how did I get here, and also, of course, the introduction to the company that I'm working with now. Then we will move on to a bit introduction also and some, sharing of what are the analytical scientist job career would look like. And also in this session, I will also briefly explain the slight differences between R&D, which is research and development, versus QC, which is quality control. Then, of course, we will also dive a little on the pharma industry, like what is going on in Malaysia and, what are the updates, what is going on. Then, of course, we have a Q&A session where you guys can, fire off some questions to me, and I'll try my best to address all of them. So before I begin, let me just state that opinions that are expressed in this presentation and the following slides are solely my own and do not express the view or the opinions of my employer. So I studied Bachelor of Science in Pharmaceutical Chemistry back in 2016 in IMU. So throughout my study, I'm quite an active participant in quite a bit of, activities, things like open day, or we have our Pharmaceutical Chemistry Week and all these activities. So of course, as a pharmaceutical chemistry student back then, we have quite a bit of laboratory activities. And also we do have some proud moments in IMU whereby we actually built the Malaysian largest periodic table. If I remember correctly, it was back in 2018 or 19. So yeah, this is one of my highlights in IMU whereby, I get the chance to, participate on something such a large scale. And of course, during the course itself, the course is designed to, expose the graduates or future graduates to the industry that we may be interested in. So one of the field visit that we had is to COVID in Para. So this is my batchmates. So we are very privileged that we are allowed to go into the manufacturing site where they actually manufactured their product at COVID, and also to interact with the people who are working there to, get some first-hand exposure on the pharma industry. So of course, in 2019, I graduated. So before I graduated, after I finished my semester 6, we do have internship program under PharmCamp. So during 2019, my internship was a 3-month internship, but I believe now it's a whole semester dedicated for internship. So for internship queries, maybe you can put it in the Q&A session, Q&A chat box, and Dr. Lee will be happy to explain further on the course. But I did 3 months internship at Novugen Pharma. So after I completed my internship, I was very privileged to be offered a permanent employment in Novugen Pharma itself, in the same department that I interned at, which is the analytical development. So just a brief, explanation on or introduction on the 2 papers that I've done. So the top left paper is the ones that I recently published with my superior. So this is actually a paper on the usage of dissolution apparatus and also incubator shaker for the phosphate binding study of silver carbonate, which is a phosphate binder. And actually, this bottom right article journal that I've written is actually for my FYP. So for the PharmCamp degree, we actually have to do research. So during my final year research, I did a review article. So I have written on the anti-malarial pharmacotherapy and also the multi-target drug discovery in anti-malarial drugs. So these are 2 of my papers. So if you're interested, you can, go and have a look. So now, just a brief introduction on Novugen Pharma, which is the company that I'm currently in. So it's actually founded in 2015 in Malaysia. So it's actually a UAE-based group. So what Novugen Pharma does is we actually develop generics that are actually targeted niche and complex pharmaceuticals. And back in 2018, Novugen actually are the first and only Malaysian company to have filed an ANDA with US FDA. So ANDA is the abbreviated new drug application. So this is applicable for US FDA. So in Malaysia, we are actually the first to do so. And this year, Novugen are proud to launch 2 new products, which is Novugen and also Tardigraph. So before I proceed, further to discuss on what are the job of an analytical scientist, I think it's good that I would explain a little bit on what is a branded drug, branded name drug, and also generic drug. So you will hear a lot of things like branded name or innovator, or maybe some terms will be RLD or reference drug. So what these products or drug means is that they are the first to be registered in US FDA. So whoever who first market a certain product, a drug product in US FDA, we will consider them as, we call them first generic, first RLD or innovator, or we can also call them brand name. So they can only be one RLD, and they are actually protected by patent. So for companies who actually, spend so much money to develop a new product, they will patent their product, obviously, and they will actually sell their product at a higher price because they have already invested so much in the development. However, once the patent of the RLD has expired, we will have generic manufacturer or generic player come into the picture and replicate the RLD. So they will do the exact same product as per the RLD, and it is slightly affordable. So it is not as expensive as the RLD. However, though we will say that generic are much more affordable, there is no difference in terms of active ingredient between RLD and a generic. In terms of price, of course, like I said, the RLD will be slightly on the higher side because of the investment that they have, done in the development process. So for generic, it will be slightly lower in cost. So as for the inactive ingredient that is present in the product itself, generic drugs may have slightly different inactive ingredient, but it is still acceptable to the FDA. And in terms of strength and dosages, there will be no difference between the RLD and also generic. And packaging may look slightly different. So yeah, these are the comparison between the branded name and generic. Like I said earlier, generic and also the brand name or name brand are both safe, effective, and both are of high quality. We cannot say that, generic is slightly affordable, so it is less effective as per the name brand, or less effective or less safe or less quality. No, there's no such thing. So because when we are going to register the generic product, we also are going to go through a very stringent process with by submitting all our documents to the regulatory authorities. So they will actually go through it stringently as well before approval of that particular product. So don't worry if, let's say, you are going to be consuming generic. And most of the time, most of the medication that you are going to get at the hospital are mostly generic. So basically, generic is also considered safe. All right. So let's move on. Okay, now to the main topic of today's presentation, which is who is an analytical scientist? What do they do? So in very simple terms, analytical scientists actually develop method for analysis. So what an analytical scientist like myself do is we actually work with FD is our formulation department. So we'll work with the formulation department to ensure that our final product is matching with the innovator, which is the brand name or the RLD. All right. So our job includes the method development for the finished product. We will ensure that, we have a very good method to confirm the safety, efficacy, and the quality of our product so that it will meet the local, which is our NPRA, and also international regulatory requirements. So there's the job of an analytical scientist can be broadly separated into two. One would be the laboratory activities and also the non-laboratory activities. So as for the laboratory activities, it will involve working in the lab, like sample preparation. So we will, after doing sample preparation, we'll go for analysis. So we will use simple or complex instrument such as HPLC, a UV spectrophotometer, an LC-MS, ion chromatography, autotiter, etc., etc. So after we have analyzed the sample that we prepared, then we'll go for data interpretation. Now, for non-laboratory activities, we have, after you have developed the method, we need to document it. We need to write it down so that the next person can able to use the same method and analyze the sample. So we'll do test method preparation. We'll also do some SOP preparation for the company. We'll do protocol reviews and report. We also need to do some product submission related documents, specification, and also COA, which is Certificate of Analysis Preparation. So these non-lab activities would be, the documentation part of whatever test that we have done, and also for product submission. So this is some diagram. So of course, sample preparation will involve, taking the sample from the formulation department. We will make into different type of solution with different concentration. Then we'll proceed for analysis using instrument or equipment. So this is an auto titrator. These are some of the common, instruments or equipment that you may see in a lab or in a lab itself or in a QC lab. Now, after analysis with the instrument, we will get some data, be it is a chromatogram or a spectra. So then we will do data interpretation and data analysis. So then we will decide after receiving the data whether the product is acceptable within a limit, or is it not going to meet a specification that we have set. So all this would help to develop the product so that the product actually meets the standard that is set by the local authority and also international guideline. All right, let's move on to discussing on the differences between an R&D scientist and also a QC scientist. I'm sure some of us we may confuse between the terms. So for an R&D scientist, we are the ones who develop the method, and of course we work in an R&D facility. Now for a QC scientist, what they do is they actually take the method that is developed by an R&D scientist and adopt it for routine use. So they work in a QC laboratory. The most simple term, R&D scientists develop the method, transfer it to the QC scientists. QC scientists will use the method directly and adopt it for their routine use. All right. All right, let's talk a little bit on the pharma industry in Malaysia. Maybe some of you are not aware or curious, like how's the pharma industry in Malaysia? Is it growing? Is it diminishing? So here I did some research. So this is actually one of the research that I found. So it was reported that back in 2019, 2 years back, our pharmaceutical industry is actually valued at over $1 billion. So I'll let you decide whether this number signifies that it is doing well or doing not well. So then we have over 100 companies, over 100 pharmaceutical companies that can be categorized into 3 types: generic drug manufacturers, research-based pharmaceutical companies, and also over-the-counter manufacturers. So over-the-counter manufacturer means that they manufactured drug, product, or medicine that you can get easily in the pharmacies. So then another report published by the Statista Research Department back in January. So they valued our revenue back in 2021 for only the OTC over-the-counter product is approximately $500 million. And they anticipated it will increase up to even $531 million by 2025. So based on all these surveys done by this research company, the pharma industry in Malaysia is growing. Maybe it's not as obvious, but it is indeed growing. So you might be wondering, what are the companies that is present in Malaysia? Other than all the big companies that you might have heard of, like Pharmaniaga, or you might heard of AstraZeneca and all that. So I have listed some of the companies here and categorize them. So we have the major local companies, pharma companies, which is Pharmaniaga or Covid, Dual Pharma, and also Kotra Pharma. So if let's say you went to the hospital recently and you received some medication from the hospital, like government hospital, you can actually have a look in the packaging of the drug, whether or not the manufacturing company comes from these four major companies. Chances are they are from this company. There are also other companies that are not listed here, but these are, one of the few well-known ones. And we also have foreign-owned companies like Biocon, Novugen Pharma is also one of them, YSP. We also have Sterling Drugs. Sterling Drug is actually the manufacturing arm of the GSK. So it is under GSK. We also have Ranbaxy. We have Zeppa Sol, and also SM Pharmaceutical. Now, we also have companies who do not have their own manufacturing plant here in Malaysia. So all these companies on the left-hand side, they have their own manufacturing plant based in Malaysia. But there are some companies who do not have their own manufacturing plant. However, they import the drug product into Malaysia to be sold in Malaysia. So these are the companies such as Pfizer, Novartis, Eli Lilly, and also AstraZeneca. So of course, these are some of just a very brief introduction or brief list of pharma company in Malaysia. There can be more. So this is just a reference for all of you. So after talking about, working as an analytical scientist, you may be thinking, what if I am not interested in working as an analytical scientist? What else can I do? Maybe you are not interested in lab, or maybe you want something different. So I would highlight a few departments that you guys can have a look. Sales and marketing team is also one of the department that is in a pharma company. So people who are into sales and marketing can also join the sales and marketing team if you like talking to people, you like meeting people, making new friends. So sales and marketing team may be you may like working as a sales and marketing. Or if you prefer to documentation type of work, or you like doing regulatory type of work, you are interested in guidances, you are very interested in guidelines and rules. So regulatory affairs can be one of your choices. Of course, we also have our QA, quality assurance. So quality assurance will involve more towards documentation, similar to regulatory affairs. But what quality assurance does is it's more towards ensuring the quality inside the company itself. For regulatory affairs team, they might also involve some interaction with the regulatory authorities. So they do have some interaction with people outside of the company. So for QA, mostly, they will handle the quality system inside the company itself to ensure that everything's are done as according to the SOP that is decided. Everything is of good quality, and they can also conduct audits, internal audits, external audits as well. Or let's say you're not into the analytical development, but you are more interested in the actual formulation of the drug, like what goes into a single tablet or what goes into a single capsule. What can I do to develop a very good tablet or good product? So formulation development can also be a choice of a career. And another thing that is quite less discussed on is the clinical affairs. So for all the drug product, it is mandatory to conduct some studies. We call it bioequivalence studies, to ensure that the generic drugs that we manufactured are actually on the same level as the RLD or the innovator. So for all these related activities, the clinical affairs team will actually handle all that. So clinical affairs is also something that you may wanted to look into. So yeah, I think that's all for my side. So if let's say you have any question, you can use the Q&A chat box, write it down, so I would address them accordingly. Or if you wanted to get connected with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'll pass the floor back to Dr. Lee. All right.
Thank you, Natasha, for the very informative and insightful talk. And we are now entering the Q&A session. Please continue to type in your questions and feedback in the Q&A panel. All right. Okay. So we already received some questions, all right, from the floors, right? Okay. Now, let us start with the Q&A sessions. Let me take a look. All right. Okay. All right. So we received these questions. Yep. I think the participants would like to know more, okay, about the career opportunity for international students if they are to pursue this BSc Honors Pharmaceutical Chemistry program in IMU. What will be the career opportunity for an international student? All right, okay. So, all right, okay. I think I'll first start, from my end. Okay, then maybe Natasha can also add on some of the points. Okay, so because in all the cohorts, we do have some international students, okay, joining this program. All right, so in IMU, the BSc Honors Pharmaceutical Chemistry program. Okay, so this program is as mentioned as an integrations applied chemistry and also a pharmaceutical sciences program. Okay, so it is an applied science program whereby it does not require a provisional registration. Okay, so this is an advantage as well because when a program that does not require a provisional registration means that you can work in any country. Okay, so we do have like graduates, okay, local graduates as well as international graduates, okay, who are now working in other country. Okay, so for international students, all right, you can actually, you see what you want to be. Okay, you want to be continued in Malaysia. Okay, it's fine. All right, so if you want to actually wanted to move on to other country or back to your home country, yes, all right, after the completions of this BSc Honors in Pharmaceutical Chemistry program, you can actually work in other country. All right, okay. So for instance, we have graduates working in Singapore, Australia, Korea. I think your friend is working in Korea, right?
Mhm.
Okay, Brunei, Myanmar, and Vietnam, and others country as well. Okay, so and not only that, all right, if you are planning to do like a postgraduate study, all right, okay, so you can actually continue to pursue a postgraduate study, okay, either locally in IMU or other universities in Malaysia, as well as you can pursue your postgraduate study for master and PhD in other countries as well. Okay, so I just give you some examples that we have alumni, okay, who pursue the higher degree in other country, for example, university in Australia, UK, United Kingdom, US, Denmark, Sweden, and Germany, and others. All right. So some of them, they even obtain a scholarship from the overseas universities as well as local universities. All right. So also, as you know, that the program is actually well recognized and accredited by the Royal Society of Chemistry. Okay, so it's benchmarked to international standards. Okay, so so for an international students, if you are to pursue this program, okay, so you can actually work in locally as well as back to your home country, or you want to work as a pharmaceutical scientist in other countries, fine as well. And often I also received questions from participants or the students that they were wondering that whether a postgraduate degree is required, okay, for you to pursue a career in pharma industry. Okay, of course the answer is no, as you can see, like Natasha, she completed the BSc Honors and then straight she joined the pharma industry, okay, as the pharmaceutical scientist, okay, analytical scientist. All right, okay. So yeah, So of course, if you are interested to have like a higher degree, okay, so it will be good as well if you are interested, okay, but it's not like a requirement for you to only have like master or PhD, then only can venture into the pharma industry, okay, right? Okay, and also there's another questions asked about what undergraduate or postgraduate degree that you will need to study in order to pursue a career in drug development, okay? So yeah, it's obviously I can yeah, I can actually like recommend that the BSc Honors Pharmaceutical Chem, all right, in IMU, all right, is one of the options for you, all right? So okay, as you can see that the program, okay, will be well prepare you, okay, for the diverse ranges of the fields in pharma, in drug discovery and development, okay? So like what Natasha shared with you, that the curriculum, okay? So Natasha actually go through the whole program whereby she actually gets opportunity to have exposure, okay, not only in formulations but as well as in the organic synthesis of the drugs, and also some of the basics on the computational drug discovery software, and then it's actually covered the whole outlook of this drug development processes. Hence, all right, it will actually be able to give you some idea whereby when you work, okay, when you pursue your career, you can choose to specialize in one area, whereby Natasha, for yourself, I think you are interested in R&D, and then you're more interested in the analytical, okay? So yep, so yeah, you can actually consider, all right? And then approximately how long is the study for this program? As brief that I give a quick briefing, that is a 3-year program, okay, whereby it's an honors degree. So honors degree means that you will get to do a research project, all right, and then to write your dissertations, okay. So I think Natasha could have some yeah, maybe Natasha, do you still remember the title of your
Yes.
dissertations?
Yes, as I shared in the slide, that was actually the dissertation that I have to write. It was very unique experience because it's not easy to write a paper, and it actually took more than the I mean, writing the dissertation and submitting it took like almost the whole FYP process. But getting it published, what the interaction with the journals or respective journals, getting rejected or getting accepted, that kind of experiences is very unique, and I would say it's a very interesting process. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Natasha, for like sharing with us. All right, that you still remember well.
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay. And also the program also, we will have this what is the internship program, and then that's why you actually yeah, you did your internship with Novugen, and
Yes.
then you get opportunity actually to get a permanent position with them. All right, okay. So and then I think okay, there's one more questions, okay, that whether this is a niche field, all right, whether the pharmaceutical chemistry is a niche field, okay. I would say yes, all right. Okay, so because the program, all right, will prepare you, okay, to venture into the pharma industry, and pharma industry, like what shared by Natasha, okay, so they actually they have to adhere to stringent requirements, the pharmacopoeia, okay. So if you have like a applied sciences, okay, whereby it's not specializations in the pharma, okay, so you could have like some difficulties in understanding, okay, the requirements, the regulations, okay, by the NPRA, and can and although all those pharmacopoeia and the others requirement, okay. So hence, right, with this program, we actually well prepare the graduates, okay, to be ready, okay, to ready to work, okay, after the graduations in the pharma or relevant industry like the supplements wellness industry. They also actually adhering to the regulations as well by the NPRA, okay, as well as some of the relevant industry like the cosmetic and personal care industries, okay. All right, okay, so let me continue to see what are the questions that we have. All right, so okay, Okay, so one of the questions, okay, is to ask you about, okay, the working hours.
Okay. Officially, you work. We official hours. It's 8:30 to 6 o'clock. So official hours. Okay. So I mean, this kind of hours is same as other industry. You know, you work 9 to 5 or even 8 to 5. So it's the same. So don't worry, you have the same working hour as other industry as well. Don't worry.
All right, okay. Okay. And then there's another questions asked about the difference between pharmacy course and the pharmaceutical chemistry. Okay, so ask about the difference of these two. Okay, so this is also another yeah, the popular questions.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, to ask about this too. Okay, so maybe I could start first. All right, okay. So in IMU, all right, we also offer another undergraduate program. Okay, so in IMU, actually, School of Pharmacy, we're offering 3 programs. Okay, the B.Pharm, Pharmaceutical Chemistry, as well as the Digital Health. Okay, the newly launched program. Okay, so the B.Pharm, Bachelor of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Chem program. Okay, so these two often we actually receive like people slightly confused about these two. Okay, all right. So the main difference between these two programs are that the B.Pharm is a 4-year program. Okay, whereby B.Pharm Bachelor of Pharmacy will prepare you to obtain a practicing pharmacist license. Okay, so you'll be working in hospital and then retail pharmacy, and some of them they could have also work in the industry. Okay, so for the pharmaceutical chemistry, so it is a 3-year program, and it is applied chemistry degree. Okay, so it is integrated with some essential biology component as well as formulations for like pharmaceutical products. You will learn to do tablet things, capsule. All right, so and then other formulations. All right. So as the pharmaceutical chem graduates, you will have you can actually work in pharma industry, okay, and also other relevant industry like what being shared by Natasha earlier on. So for example, researchers, R&D researcher, analytical scientists, and then quality assurance, quality control personnel, regulatory affair, all right, medical writers, clinical research associate. Okay, so in this farm chem career, you can actually work in lab-based and also non-lab-based type of career. Okay, so kind of job scope. All right, for the non-lab-based, you can actually work in QA, quality assurance, to be the audit person. Okay, to look at the whole line, okay, of your company. All right, so to ensure that everything is in good place, and then you produce the high quality of the pharma product. Okay, so as well as you can work as clinical research associate to to monitor the clinical research. Okay, you're representing the pharma industry. All right, so also if for those like also another non-lab based, it will be the regulatory affair. Okay, executive, whereby you actually ensure that your company will be able to get the license from the MPRA to actually to get your products to be on shelf, okay, in to the reach to the patients and hospital. All right, okay, so the lab-based one is already being well covered by the talk just now, okay, by Natasha. All right, okay, so whereby you can work for various aspects if you like hands-on. All right, okay, so and then, of course, not limited to pharma industry. Okay, for the graduates from this farm camp program, you can also venture into relevant industry like nutraceutical and also wellness products, medical devices, cosmetic and personal care. As mentioned, that they also adhere to the stringent requirements, okay, by the MPRA. All right. So, and then other than that, you can also venture into consumer goods industry and also other chemical industry because you have a strong chemistry background. Okay, so both programs, they are also both B.Pharm and PharmChem. They are also they have their own recognitions by 2 different bodies. Okay, so for B.Pharm, you will obtain a pharmacist license by the Pharmacy Board Malaysia. Okay, which will actually give you the the capability to dispense medicine. Okay, for a pharm chem graduates, you'll be able to obtain a registered chemist status from the Institute of Chemistry Malaysia (IKM), which allow you to officiate or validate various type of documents pertaining to quality control, ISO, quality assurance, and etc. Okay, so this is the two main difference between the two program, B Pharm and also Bachelor of Pharmacy, and also the Pharmaceutical Chemistry program. Okay, so see like what actually that suits you, okay, your interests. All right, so let me take a look at some other questions. All right, okay, so what are the departments or officers or teams under the R&D department in Novugen? I think this attendee, they are actually very much interested into like the different
hierarchy or different departments.
I mean maybe different groups of R&D within the R&D department in Novugen. Okay, so like you are working on analytical, perhaps they want to know more on some other field in the R&D, like the formulation and others.
Okay. I would say this, in R&D, we will broadly, have two teams. One is the analytical part, which is they are solely responsible for the method itself. Then we have the formulation department, whereby they are responsible in the formulating the tablet or whatever product itself. So both these teams actually work hand in hand. So once the formulation department actually have their, I would say, some trials or prototype, they will submit the sample to the analytical team. So the analytical team will pass on that particular product. So majorly there's two teams.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, correct. All right. Okay. So actually R&D, all right, you can choose yourself, okay, to be specialized, okay, into product development, okay, or you are a person that you like to develop new methods, okay, method validation like Natasha, okay. So you have the analytical thinking so it actually allow you to actually do well in that area. Okay. So all right, okay. And then there's another questions, all right, okay, to ask about the University of Dundee credit transfer track. Okay, so can I find work in the UK with a credit transfer track to the University of Dundee program? Okay, so yeah, as I have actually mentioned it, that our program, okay, nowadays we also have like partnership with University of Dundee, okay, whereby after the 1 year FIS foundation in science in IMU, and also 1 year with us Pharmaceutical Chemistry program, so you can actually opt to have a credit transfer to University of Dundee. Okay, so for 2 years, for another 2 years, and then you'll be graduated with a bachelor honors degree from conferred by the University of Dundee. Okay, so after graduations, all right, of course you are getting the certifications from University of Dundee. You can actually look for a job there. All right, okay, so you can actually work in UK. All right, so but not limited to like only if you are graduates from University of Dundee. Okay, so as mentioned that if you are a local 3 years graduates from IMU, you can also opt to actually apply to other countries, okay, for jobs. Okay, so it's not actually limited to that. All right, because the degree is also like it's actually well recognized nationally and also internationally. Okay, all right. So okay, so let me take a look on other questions. Okay, so all right, okay, so okay, maybe I take these questions. All right, so I think this question is for you, okay, Natasha. All right, okay, so what are the challenges that you have been encountering in your jobs, and how did you actually overcome it?
Oh, okay, challenges. I would say one of the major challenges, because the company that I work with we consider it as MNC, which is multinational company. So you work with people of different background, different nationality even. So there will be some sort of like, cultural differences in things that we do, like the way we do things, or maybe the work culture is different, or the leadership style of the other person, or them, you will have a lot of conflicts because of all this. So I find that I think it is also applicable in local as well, because you will also meet people of other background. So I think that's one of the challenges, to be able to work cohesively as a team, and also to collaborate together. So one of the things that I find that is very critical in this sort of situation is, communication, open communication. So you must be very willing to start discussion with the other person. So you don't want conflict, but you rather have discussion. So we wanted to be able to have discussion with the other parties, what are the issues that they are facing, what are the issues that I am facing, how can we work together to, solve that issue. So that is one thing. Another thing is also, adaptability is also critical, because you might meet a lot of different type of people, and you need to adapt quickly to that particular person's work culture. So maybe that person's work culture may not clash well with yourself. So you need to, be flexible in that way to work as a team. So that is one thing that I find that, until today also I do have problem, but we're still learning all the while. So that is one of the things that I find it's a bit tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you that all this, you learn, by experience. Okay, all
Yeah.
right, okay, thank you for sharing with us. Okay, that how you actually encountering it, and overcome it. All right, okay, so there's another questions over here. Okay, so asking about the okay, let me check. Okay. So the Igcse grade requirement. All right. Okay. So I think over here is asking about the Igcse grade requirement. Okay. So to study the undergraduate program. Okay. So all right. Okay. You will need to get A level. Okay. Or at pre-U program, A level, IMU foundation in science, and other recognized pre-U qualifications in order for you to apply for undergraduate program in IMU. Okay, so for the Igcse, okay, so you will need to first do your a pre-U program before you can actually enter, all right, to this any one of the undergraduate program. Okay, so there's another questions for you. Okay, Natasha, they are very much interested in what you're doing. Okay, so they would like to know, okay, whether you can share with them how a day at work, okay, is like for you. Okay, so they like averagely, generally,
What
maybe
a day.
what you will be actually doing for a day at work.
Okay. How to say, because it's when you're working in research and development, I cannot say that every day is the same. Because you might have some different type of testing that are you going to do. So I cannot say like definitely it will be the same. So I'll just give a very brief description. So usually once you come into the work, let's say it's a Monday. So you have your analysis that you are done on Friday last week. So what you would do, you would sit down, you would, look at the data that you have already obtained. Then you want to do data interpretation and all that. So that is one part of the work that you will be doing as well. Then of course, if let's say you are aware that there are some samples coming in that is going to be tested, then you will start your analysis on that particular product for a specific test. So most of the time, after you have done your testing, of course, you need to do some documentation for that particular test that you have done. So these are, a very general day-to-day work. But, in between, you might have some tasks, like you need to sit down for, specification preparation. or you need to sit down to do some SOP preparation or some report preparation. So those are, some tasks that might be interlinked between all these activities. So yeah, that is like generally what a day I would go through.
Okay, so followed by these questions, I'm not sure is it from the same participant. Is working in R&D boring? Okay, so definitely it is not.
No.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the reason that
because
you
you need
joined.
to
I know that.
yes, because I also have when I first before I graduated, I also would think what I wanted to do. So I told myself that I do not want a very boring job. That's why I went into research, because in research you will not have a constant uh repetition of tasks to do. Those are usually reserved for quality control. So for a research, because you are developing something new, so throughout during the process of developing something new, you might face some interesting challenges turn up, or some problems that suddenly popped up somewhere. So then it makes the whole situation like a roller coaster. So I would say R&D is not boring.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, that's why like even though I'm in the academic, so I also keep myself updating by continue to do research work. Okay, so R&D is very, very interesting, and also yeah, it's challenging as well as some point. Okay, but I find it like very much motivating, okay, if we are continue to be in R&D. Okay, so like okay, of course they wouldn't be a smooth one in R&D. Okay, so what you're actually expecting, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. Yeah, so you have to actually think out of the box. Okay, and then you will need to actually search for new methods. Okay, and then to test it out. All right. Okay, but the moment that you actually be able to prove what you actually expecting, the hypothesis and all these things, wow, that's
The
you feel.
satisfaction.
Yes,
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 yes.
yeah. So yeah, I think yeah, we both experience all these the challenges as well as the satisfactions that we have. Okay, when we do R&D. Okay, so R&D definitely is actually a very interesting area. Okay, that's why yeah, we still like continue to be in like doing research. Okay, all right. Okay, and then there's another questions. All right, I think this could be the last questions. Is pharmaceutical chemistry related or similar to pharmacology? Okay. So I think this one I would invite Natasha to actually share with you, okay? Because in pharmacology, we do have like one module
Yeah.
in pharmacology, okay? But pharmaceutical chemistry is not pharmacology, okay? So maybe Natasha, you can share with the participants, okay? So what did you study in pharmacology and what is it about?
Okay. Pharmaceutical chemistry is a very broad term. So under this term, you can have a lot of subtopics. Subtopics like pharmacology, you can have pharmaceutics, you can have organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, physical chemistry. So then, so the difference is pharmaceutical chemistry is a broad term. So underneath that term, you can have different categories. Like one of it is pharmacology. So during my 3 years in IMU as a pharm chem student, so we actually studied quite a lot of topic in chemistry. So we did organic chemistry and of course inorganic chemistry. We did also physical chemistry. In terms of pharmaceutics part, we also did pharmacology. Yes, that's one of the subject. We also do pharmaceutics. We also did pharmaceutical technology, whereby we, get to know what are the technology is used in the manufacturing processes. Then also we do study on pharmacokinetics, like how the drug actually enters your body, do the work that it's supposed to do in your body, and then get out of your body. So, these are a very broad range of study that is taught in pharmacy in the pharm chem program. So that's why I say that this program is actually very versatile in prepping the student, because you get a lot of information for so many topics, that you are so well rounded, that you have a lot of knowledge in basically the whole drug development process, that in any point of the drug development sector that you enter into, you are relevant and you are able to connect the dots. So that's why it's, you know, it's, if let's say you are really interested in drug development and all this, then I really recommend PharmChem program for you, because it really, you know, equip you to have like the right kind of knowledge to be, you know, a very valuable person in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Natasha. All right. Okay. So for the pharmacology, okay, the pharmacologists. All right. So pharmacologists, they are more on to like understand the medicine, how the medicine and how the drugs work in the body. All right. Okay. So for the pharmacologists, they are more working into how the drug interact with the biological system. Okay. Hence, that mean that you will be more interested in the life sciences, in the biology, biology area. Okay. And then for pharmaceutical sciences, pharmaceutical chem, you are more into the drug development. You're creating a new formulations or new molecules. Okay. So it's actually two different areas. Okay. So for the pharmacologists, like usually what they will be doing in vitro, the cell work, animal cells or tissues, and also they do a lot of animal work, animal study, in vivo research, okay, in order for them to predict the effect of the drugs, okay, on the body biological system. Okay, so that's why they will need to do some first is in vitro, followed by in vivo. All right, in vivo work. Okay, they will be doing the animal studies on the how the drugs work, they will be actually studying PKBD, kinetics, and also pharmacodynamic studies. All right. Okay. So more on life sciences study. All right. Okay. So this is the main difference. All right. Okay. So yep. Okay. So now it's already the I think 3:03 p.m. All right. Okay. So we receive a lot of questions. Okay. But I'm afraid that we have to stop now. Okay. So it's already 3:03 p.m. All right. Okay. So I think we'll need to stop here. All right. Okay. So we thank all of you for attending this live talk and also the active participations in the Q&A sessions. All right. So receive a lot of good questions, and then we'll try to see like on other platform that we'll be able to answer all of them. Okay. For you. All right. Okay. So thank you everyone for attending this live talk despite it is a Saturday afternoon. All right. So, and also of course, thank you very much to Miss Natasha for the very interactive and also very inspirational sessions for the participants today. All right, as well as myself. Okay. All right. Okay. So with that, all right, we will end the live talk sessions. Thank you, everyone. Take care and have a good weekend. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.